Scooby Doo and the Thanksgiving Terror. Written by Mariah Balaban. Illustrated by Duende Del Sur. It was Thanksgiving, and the Mystery Inc. gang was going to have their very own float and the Glad Cash's Thanksgiving Day parade. "I'm so excited," said Daphne. "This is such a big honor. Glad Cash's department store is the biggest, most important store in Coolsville." "So what is Walbucks? Chopped liver?" asked a little man who had been standing next to the gang. "Like, who are you, the Earl of Sandwich?" giggled Shaggy. "I'm Wally Walbucks," he said, "and Walbucks' department store is every bit as good as Glad Cash's. One of these days I'll settle the score. Just you wait and see." "Jeepers!" exclaimed Velma. He sure seemed angry. It was almost time for the parade to start, so the gang made their way to the floats. "Hey, isn't that the pop star Simone Shante?" asked Fred. Simone Shante wasn't very happy with Hugo Gladcash either. "Who does that Hugo Gladcash think he is? Making me share my float with a bunch of bears!" they heard Simone Shante yell. "No one treats a star this way and gets away with it. I'll make Gladcash pay." "Like that pop star's flipped her lid," said Shaggy. Suddenly, two men ran by. They were so busy arguing they almost knocked Velma over. "Stutter, you are fired!" yelled one of the men. "Get off the parade grounds." "You haven't seen the last of Stu Stutter," the other man yelled back. "Hugo Gladcash and his silly department store are going down." "We'd better get over to our float," said Fred. "It looks like the parade is about to start." "Welcome to the 50th annual Glad Cash's Thanksgiving Day Parade," Hugo Gladcash announced over a loudspeaker. "It sure is fun to be part of all this," said Fred as he waved to the cheering crowd. Suddenly, the cheers turned to screams. "I didn't think our float was that scary," said Shaggy. "Shaggy, behind you!" exclaimed Daphne. It's a giant turkey!" Fred screamed. Fred was right. A giant turkey balloon had broken free from its handlers and was bouncing through the crowd. "I'm the Thanksgiving Terror," it squawked. "I'll use you for stuffing and cook your goose." "That terrible turkey is chasing everyone away from the parade," exclaimed Velma. "I can't hear you," cried Shaggy. "Like, I'm too busy running." "Roo-roo," said Scooby Doo. The Thanksgiving Terror disappeared around the corner, and the gang came back to look for Mr. Gladcash. They found him among the empty floats. "My parade was a disaster," Mr. Gladcash cried. "I'm ruined. Who could have done this?" "Don't worry, Mr. Gladcash. We'll get to the bottom of this mystery," Velma reassured him. "Gang, let's split up and look for clues," said Fred. "Like, I was afraid he would say that," groaned Shaggy. While Velma, Fred, and Daphne explored the parade stands, Shaggy and Scooby explored the snack table. "Now these are the kinds of clues we're happy to look for. Right, Scoob?" Shaggy asked. "Rookie!" yelped Scooby Doo. "No thanks, buddy," Shaggy replied. "I think I've had enough turkey for one day." "Raggy, re-rind-roo," said Scooby. Shaggy turned around slowly. Something had tapped him on the shoulder. It was hard and pointy, like a beak. "But it wouldn't be Thanksgiving without the turkey," said the Thanksgiving Terror. "Like, sorry, big guy, nothing personal," Shaggy gulped. "Scooby Doo, let's run for it." Meanwhile, Fred, Daphne, and Velma were busy looking for clues. "I found something, guys!" exclaimed Daphne. Daphne picked up a walking stick with a big W on it and showed it to the gang. "I bet that belongs to Wally Walbucks," said Fred. Thought Velma aloud. This could be a coincidence, but Wally Wallbox was acting awfully suspicious before. The gang decided to keep looking for clues. Over by the parade floats, the gang found some more. "That's Simone Shantae's signature beret," said Daphne. "And this must be Stu Stutter's employee jacket," exclaimed Fred. "This mystery is finally coming together," said Velma. "But where are Scooby and Shaggy?" "Man, it looks like we finally lost that overstuffed entree," Shaggy gasped. "Rook again, Raggy," said Scooby. "You can run, but you can't hide. You giblets are goners," squawked the terrifying turkey as it came for them. Shaggy and Scooby ran into the rest of the gang with a loud clatter. They had crashed into a bunch of helium canisters stashed behind the floats. "That helium must be how the turkey terror stays inflated," said Velma. "Those helium canisters and this parade float just gave me an idea for a trap," said Fred. Fred instructed Mr. Gladcash to make an announcement over the loudspeaker. "Ladies and gentlemen," said Mr. Gladcash, "that giant turkey was part of the festivities. Please return to the stands so that the parade can continue." Soon the crowd had returned, and the parade started up again, this time with a special float leading it. As Scooby and Shaggy waved to the crowd, they noticed a big turkey-shaped shadow looming behind them. The Thanksgiving terror had come back, just as Fred had counted on. "Gobble, gobble, you're all in trouble," squawked the giant bird. "Shaggy, now!" Fred shouted. Right on Fred's cue, Shaggy thrust his pitchfork into the Thanksgiving terror with a loud pop. The balloon ripped and the air rushed out of it. Everyone cheered as the enormous turkey flapped uncontrollably around the parade. "Now it's time to see who's behind this bird-brained mystery," exclaimed Fred as he pulled off the turkey's head. "Stu Stutter!" exclaimed Mr. Gladcash. "But why?" "Stu tried to sabotage the parade because he was angry for being fired," exclaimed Velma. "Fired?" asked Mr. Gladcash. "Why, because of Stu, my parade is more popular than ever. Plus, these turkey souvenirs are selling like hotcakes." "Does that mean I have my job back?" Stu Stutter asked. "Young man, I'm giving you a promotion," exclaimed Mr. Gladcash. "And it's all thanks to Scooby Doo and his friends. Now, who's hungry?" "I think that's a trick question," Shaggy whispered to Scooby. Mr. Gladcash invited the gang to join him at a special Thanksgiving feast, hosted by Gladcash's department store. "I never thought I'd say this, but can somebody please pass the turkey?" Shaggy joked. Everyone laughed. "Rappy Ranksgiving!" barked Scooby Doo. Thanks for listening, and don't forget to subscribe. Want to check out the last story we read? Here's the link. Do you have a favorite book you want read aloud? Leave it in the comments below.